So at ELO, essentially what we're able to do is take those rare things in nature
Hmm.
and produce them in ways we can make them more available to the food system. So we're on the hunt for healthier ingredients that are hard to get from natural sources because either there's not enough of them
Hmm.
or they're produced in some way that's totally unsustainable. You just can't either economically do it, or it's bad for the environment, or some other reason that's just not a good idea, right?
You might have to plant so much of it and take so much from the land to get enough to do what you need that it would actually be harmful.
That's right. But yet those ingredients would be amazing if we could make them more available. And that's where ELO's platform and our technology comes into play. So, you look around and you can imagine some really interesting flavor in an exotic species in the Amazon, but we're not going to go deforest the Amazon to get enough of that flower to produce it. Or something that helps your gut, a bioactive that shows up in a plant that we'd want to use more in our food, but it comes in tiny, tiny amounts in these plants it grows in. Or in our case, we've been looking at this sweetener, which originally comes from this fruit in China, but it's really expensive and it's hard to produce. You have to hand pollinate every single flower to make the fruit, and as soon as you pick it, it spoils. And so they almost have to freeze the harvest and get it to the Chinese factories to process it to make monk fruit sweeteners that we want here in our markets. So not surprisingly, food companies don't use a lot of it. It's too expensive. We need to make sure our food is affordable. We're looking for ways now we can produce an identical version of that monk fruit sweetener that you would get from China. We can produce it here in crops in the US at levels that now make it affordable, better tasting, and give you a better supply of it. So now it's something that's broadly available.
So you're telling maybe a watermelon to do the same thing that the monk fruit does to produce that what we call sugar, and it's a natural sweetener. It's going to have the same properties as that sweetener derived from the hard to grow, fragile monk fruit, and it could come from the good old watermelon that's all around us.
Right, exactly. And it's 300 times sweeter than sugar, it has 0 calories, and so now we can put it in foods to help reduce excess sugars in our diet, which we think is one of the most impactful things we can do to help human health.